And that's AgForce. We're going to talk to Shane McCarthy, who's the General President of AgForce Queensland. Now, that's a leading agricultural advocacy group, now a fifth-generation sheep, cattle and cane producer from Hughenden. Shane has extensive experience in the industry. Now, before his presidency, Shane served as AgForce's Deputy Chair and North Regional Director. He is also a Flinders Shire Councillor, actively engaging in local governance. Shane is committed to advancing Queensland's agricultural sector, focusing on infrastructure, development, biosecurity and sustainable practices. He succeeded Georgie Somerset in November 2024, bringing a wealth of knowledge and his leadership to this particular role. First of all, Shane, thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are we?
Good. What a beautiful day.
Mate, it's a great day here too. It's not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah, I prefer it about 30. The 4X goes down faster.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It does. Well, tell me about AgForce, what you actually do and how important you are.
Yeah, so Mike, we're a Queensland-based advocacy group. So we represent broadacre. So we represent the cattle industry, the sheep, wool and goat industry. Also, we have grains and we have some cane, not all cane, but some cane that we represent. And that covers, look, we have coverage about 2/3 of the state. There's a lot of producers in there that we represent and try and get a better outcome for.
Can you sort of paint a picture for us, for those who aren't familiar with rural areas? A lot of people think you walk into the supermarket, that's where they grow the fruit and veggies and stuff like that. A couple of cattle roaming in the cool room. But tell us exactly what it's like to live in the rural areas and how we are so dependent not only on God and with these too much rain, not enough rain, too much sun, not enough sun, but we also have other things that come into play, such as government and overseas markets, don't we?
Yep, certainly. So, like, Queensland is home to the 49% of the national cattle herd. So we're big players in that area. Most of the cane and sugar cane in Australia is grown in Queensland. A lot of grains as well, and the sheep numbers are dwindling a bit, but great goat numbers are picking up. So if you've eaten something today, if you've drunk something today, if you're basically not naked, that agriculture has provided that for you. And we do that good a job of it that we actually export 70% of what we grow and produce. And we do that more environmentally friendly than anywhere else on this planet. There was a recent study that came out late last year from, I think it was Brazil, that said that Australian producers are 45% more environmentally friendly than their peers. So that's not small numbers. And we live in the driest continent on Earth as well. So look, what we do well, and we do environmentally as well.
Support's needed at the moment, for the Queensland growers or the farmers. What sort of support would that be? Cash isn't funny. We'll make a loan here, we'll do a loan here, you've got to pay it back. And cash can be that great trap. So take away the cash bit, which you'd like to earn from what you're doing anyway. What sort of support then does the industry need?
Well, at the moment, probably our three biggest concerns are at the moment is the new changes to the EPBC Act and how that affects day-to-day running of producers, what they do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's just putting a new fence line up, whether it's ploughing another paddock or making sure the regrowth's not taking over. That's and we're working through those issues at the moment. But the one that's raised its head, that as everybody knows, is fuel and fertiliser. It's just not the availability of it, and it's also the availability and the amount I can get when I need it it's also the price of it. So the fuel costs, the price of fuel and the price of fertiliser has doubled in the last 6 weeks. And unfortunately, producers can't double the price of what they get for their commodity. We're still getting the same amount, if not. Some of our products have gone down in what we get for them. And we work on a fairly slim margin as it is. So, right at the moment, I've got producers making that decision whether what they plant, if they plant, if they harvest, can I afford to harvest? Can I afford to get my animals, if I've got to move them off breeding country and put them on fattening country, if I've got to put them in a feedlot, can I get that product to where it needs to go? Can I afford to do it, basically?
So how do we fix it? I mean, the refinery fire in Geelong would have been, you sort of think, oh, what can go wrong now? But it's terrible. And they say it was just a mechanical failure. Maybe it's just me, but, it sounds a bit suspect. I would think that, we have no fuel and now we have less fuel. But if you don't get the fuel prices down, not just the fuel, but the fuel prices down, and we don't produce, we see, and I was reading somewhere where it said 25% drop in productivity. They just won't grow it. If that happens, tell us what's another word? Tell us what sort of effect that will have in the major markets when you pop into your supermarket.
Well, worst case scenario, it gets down to the fact that it won't be on the supermarket shelves. It's as simple as that. If producers can't, it's going to cost them more money than they can get back out of it, and they can't pay their bills. They just won't plant. I know guys who already have made that decision. I've got one guy who's a fairly big cropper here with some of the drought conditions and that he's got, and also the price of fuel and fertiliser. He's only planting 10% of his normal crop. That has a flow-on effect. If he can't get a crop off, or the wrong type of crop going to that, then feedlots are affected. If feedlots are affected, well, then the supply of cattle, supply of pork, beef, that's all affected. So it has a knock-on effect, and it's just not small numbers either. If I can't get cattle off from where we breed them, and then I want to take them to where some country where I can fatten them, it has an effect on. We have plenty of grass. We've had some good seasons. Sometimes we've had a bit too much rain in some places. Yep. And this happened in the live export debacle way back, that we can't get cattle numbers off from where they are being bred and to where they needed to go, or there was just too many on the properties, and it caused a green drought. There just simply wasn't enough fodder there for those people. So worst case scenario is, there is no food on the shelves, or a limited supply of food on the shelves.
And we talk about the end product, looking after the consumers, but what about the poor bugger that has to say, can't do it this year? How does he get by? I mean, he's most likely as a family got his commitments. And it then becomes another chain effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they've got bills to pay. They've got to put kids through school, feed kids. They also all those small communities, they rely on those agricultural industries around those small communities. And if they're not making money, if they've got no money to spend, well, the small towns, they're not getting a turnover either, and also a lot of those small towns rely on the tourism sector for the great nomads coming through, and we're seeing a drop in those numbers already. Those guys are making a decision that I just can't afford to drive around Australia this year, so those small towns are going to suffer.
I see that you're advocating for, I'll go through these, price relief mechanisms to offset baseline fuel and fertiliser costs, a farm keeper style support package for producers, financial and backing support to assist with cash flow pressures, electricity and water pricing relief, and support for processors and the broader supply chain. Have we made any progress on anything?
It's always a work in progress, and things takes time. The wheels of government turn slowly, but the likes of advocacy groups like AgForce and others, we're in there trying to make sure that we're working with governments and both local, state and federal to try and sort some of these out. And I mean, we don't want to just go with them with problems. There's a lot of guys that work in my industry that, they're some of the best and clearest thinkers around. We'll go with solutions, whether that be, we need to put things like the new EPBC reforms on hold for a while, or, there's a reduction in green and red tape. There is tax breaks. I mean, the last thing that producers need is another bloody loan. We've got to. You still got to pay them back, as you said before.
Yep.
And look, we're a proud sort of industry. We don't want handouts. We just tax breaks. Some reduction in the red and green, especially the green tape at the moment, would be fantastic.
If somebody wants to find out more, you have an excellent website, and I noticed all your videos and stuff, and it's fantastic. And there's one start, but it's not enough. Gives people a bit of a support mechanism, but you still want to be able to talk one-to-one, or let's get on the dog and bone and have a bit of a chat. How do they do that? How do they get hold of you? Just for example, to have a conversation, say, look, it's really getting tough. I don't know what to do with myself, because the first thing is to actually talk to someone.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just bottle it up. Talk. Pick up a phone. Talk to somebody. Like you said, the website we've got. So you can get hold of us. My number's available for anyone to pick up a phone and ring, or one of our board members or one of our staff. They're only too willing to hear the problems, try and work some solutions out, and we will get through this. We have before, but it's just a matter of trying to find some solutions to the problems. And we have been saying it for a while that we do have sovereign risk. There was a report that the federal government did a couple of years ago. I think it came out, a green paper. That stated in that paper that agriculture needed to be put on the same footing as the likes of defence and all those. It's a vitally important industry. I mean, people get terribly hungry and terribly cold without the agriculture industry.
They certainly do, and I have to say, your videos, when I was looking through those before, I thought, a second look at it, I thought, my God, George Clooney, and it was you.
Highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Look, I'm being nice to you. I'm being nice to you, all right? Give me a break. Just being warm and fuzzy. No, but you're doing a great job, and I've got to tell you, it's a very tough life. We haven't even talked about the middleman yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to make my dad, shudder in his gumboots. That's another story. Shane, thank you so much for your time. We will do more of these. We ran a spot before you came on, which you saw. So anything we can do to help, you just need to reach out to us, and whatever we can do to help the industry, help the people, help Australia, because that's what it's all about. And could you imagine, I mean, you don't live in the cap city, but imagine walking in, the wife walking into a supermarket and seeing one lettuce or something. I mean, can you imagine the furor at home? It would be pretty wild, wouldn't it? Where's the food?
I could, and I don't want to go through that. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. That's why we have jobs and we go to the office. It's much simpler. Shane McCarthy, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir.